My apologies, everyone. I got Nick Castellanos editing my clips now. Me and PJ were just looking at it. I'm like, what the hell, man? Let's hurry up with that. Welcome to the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Here from the Steven Singer Studios. Nice to have you along for the ride after just a thrilling Phillies weekend. That was great. Oh, so good to have the Phillies back at the All-Star game, but they lose to the Cubs, who, in case you missed it, suck. And somehow magically they managed to make the Phillies look like they suck. We had a bit of a quarrel, if you will, between a couple of media members as well, which was stupid as let me just say this before we even get to it. I hate talking about media fights. I hate it. And it's not because like I'm friends with a bunch of people in the media. It's just that like we're not the story. We're never supposed to be the story. It's always supposed to be about what we're covering. And it always makes me think back to when I told Joe Farzetta, when I went up to Dad when I was like 17 years old, I said, Dad, I want to go into broadcasting. He always said, oh, God, okay. All right. Just do me a favor. Don't be the story. All right. Report on the story. I went, you got it, Pops. There you go. I don't know if I've honored that or not. But nonetheless, people are now the story, so we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about how the Philadelphia Phillies, at least right now, seem like they have kicked off the Eagles season, which was something I would hope they wouldn't do coming out of the All-Star break. I was hoping for at least 2 of 3 against Chicago Cubs. And that, of course, did not happen as they lose 25-7 in the 3-game series in total. 25-7. And some of it, well, like that 5th inning they had Friday night against Kyle Gibson and this Phillies defense, particularly Alec Boehm. That certainly didn't make it feel like this weekend was going to go as some of us had planned. Now, here's the positive aspect to take away from it. And there's not many, but here's one. Rob Thompson finally did something with Nick Castellanos. Finally. And if there is one great failure that Rob Thompson has had as the Phillies skipper so far, interim or not, it's not getting, or at least attempting to get Nick Castellanos going. Now, is it all Rob Thompson? No, of course. But as a manager, I think he's waited way too long to bump Nick Castellanos out of the 3-hole in this lineup, especially after Bryce Harper went down. Like, you needed to shake things up a little bit, whether that's a day off, whether that's 2 days off and watching the team play and not being a part of it, maybe to get his mind right, somehow magically you need to do something in order to get him going. Rob Thompson has not done that. Now, is it up to Rob Thompson wholeheartedly, fully? No, of course, up to the player to perform. But as the manager, as the guy making the lineup card, you got to think, all right, maybe I should have dropped him down to the order a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Maybe I should have taken more opportunity to try to shake things up and get things going right in his head. And unfortunately, that's not the case. It's not how it went down. So here we are. Rob Thompson, after a little kerfluffle with the media between Nick Castellanos and Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia, he finally bumps him down in the lineup. And Nick Castellanos still hears the boos. When it comes to Nick Castellanos, I don't know what he could do at this point. I would love to see him flip that switch and start crushing baseballs and be a guy to help carry this team and be a guy to come up with some clutch hits. And it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case as he went 1 for 13 over the weekend, including his only hit, which was yesterday when he was batting out of the 5-hole. This has gone on for way too long. And he in no way, shape, or form looks like a guy that's $100 million, 5-year deal. He in no way, shape, or form looks like a guy who was worth going over the luxury tax, as we have alluded to so many times on this show, saying that John Middleton looked at Nick Castellanos and said he's the one guy. He's the one guy the Phillies were willing to go over the luxury tax for. And so far, he has not lived up to that hype. Saturday night, everything boiled over. Now, there's 2 cuts of this that we're going to play for you. One is what was originally put out, Jamie Apodi. The other is the extended version that Jamie Apodi of 6ABC put out there later on for full context. Afterwards, they explained, and I saw this on Crossing Broad as well. Kevin Kincaid wrote a great article on crossingbroad.com about this whole back and forth and how the media people weighed in on this. Matt Gelb of the Athletic and Jamie Apodi of 6ABC were going back and forth, where Gelb flat out said something that I like Matt Gelb. I think he does a great job. This is something that I don't think he should have done in terms of calling another reporter a disgrace. Maybe you allude to, if you think the act of putting it out is disgraceful, if you think editing a clip is disgraceful without saying that it's edited, that's disgraceful, fine. But calling somebody else a disgrace is way over the line and totally unnecessary. So going back and watching both clips, and I want you guys to see what most people reacted to in case you haven't seen it yet. And then I want you to see the fuller context of what was edited out in the middle to give you as much information as possible so you can make your own judgment. Let me say this again. I hate talking about media fights. I hate talking about all of that. I'd rather talk about the games. But being that the Phillies are really terrible, I don't really want to talk about them either. And here's the other thing. John Barchard is going to be joining us from Bell and the Bird podcast to talk to us about the Eagles. So we're going to talk to some football as the Eagles kick off their training camp tomorrow, Tuesday. Coaches are already in at the NovaCard Complex. Players are in there tomorrow. And training camp will officially get underway. When you got physicals and you got conditioning tests and all that good stuff. But without further ado, here's what was originally released from Jamie Apote's Twitter account. Excuse me, between Nick Castellanos and Jim Salisbury of NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Did you hear the blues there when you struck out and they played the game there?
No, man, I lost my hearing.
So you didn't hear it?
Come on, man, it's a stupid question.
Why is it a stupid question?
Can anybody else answer that for him? Anybody? Yeah, man, that's a stupid question.
It's not a stupid question. If it's a stupid question, you should be equipped to answer it.
All right. I did answer it.
All right. The answer, you should be able to handle a stupid question.
We got the answer.
That doesn't mean that I can't say that it's a stupid question.
It wasn't a stupid question. It's a legit question.
If I heard the booze, that's a rhetorical question. Of course, it's a stupid
Did you hear
question.
the booze?
That's a stupid question.
We got the answer. We're good. Thanks, guys. We're
Then
close.
you should be able to handle a stupid question.
I did.
There we go. All right. Yes, the edit makes you think, well, what the hell else happened? And what is that about? Later on, it comes out that they just thought that wasn't pertinent to the conversation, this middle part, and we'll play that for you in a second. But that looks bad. And I think it looks bad on both parts. You see Jim going with the little finger point there, which I don't know about you guys, but if somebody is wagging their finger in my face, even if it's for a second like that, okay, all right, hold on a second here. I'm not some dog you can scold. Like, that's how it makes me feel. And then Nick Castellanos just being with the stupid question thing is ridiculous. Like, what is so difficult about just saying something as simple as, I would boo me too? Malcolm Jenkins, if you remember with the Philadelphia Eagles, the night the Super Bowl banner was unfurled in that Thursday night opener the following season against the Atlanta Falcons, the Eagles got booed off the field at halftime. Okay? The Eagles got booed off the field in their first half of football after winning a Super Bowl. And Malcolm Jenkins was asked about it after the game. The Eagles won the game. And Malcolm Jenkins was asked about it after the game. Malcolm Jenkins, what did he say? Malcolm Jenkins said, yeah, I'd boo me too. I'd boo us too. We needed that little kick in the butt. Okay, cool. Bryce Harper a couple of years ago was talking about, shout out to my friend Amy Fadul, NBC Sports Philly, who put this out there as well, talking about Bryce Harper getting booed, the team getting booed. And he's like, yeah, I would do the same thing. Like that's like the only thing you can say. That's it. Not it's a stupid question, because that's confrontational. Obviously, that's defensive at the same time. So what? Yeah, I'd boo me too. I've been playing up to my contract. I haven't been playing up to the standard that I have set for myself in my career. I'm working hard to get back to it, all that. That's the only way to answer that question. There's no win other than self-deprecation, unfortunately. And it's not even self-deprecating as much as it is acknowledging the struggles. Okay. So that brings me to the middle portion of all this. And when I read the quotes, because before I saw anything, I read the quotes afterwards. Not even seeing any big headline or anything like that, like, oh, Castellanos versus Jim Salisbury, or anything like that. No, I was reading a game story, and I saw that Nick Castellanos said this middle portion of the quote, which I thought was making Nick Castellanos, I think, look a lot better. But here's the middle portion of that was edited out. Here's Nick Castellanos with the media on Saturday night.
Come on, man, that's a stupid question.
Why is it a stupid question?
Can anybody else answer that for him? Anybody?
So You heard them. And
Of course.
what does that feel like?
What does the booze feel like? It is what it is, man.
You think they have a right to do that? I mean, do you think you delivered enough?
I don't need to give an opinion on that.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
But where do you go from here then? Well, in a situation like that, when it's obviously you're hearing things like that, I mean, where do you personally go? How do you internalize it and then try and make yourself better? I'm sure you've been through this before, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I've hit lows in my career.
Right.
I think I go home, and then I get ready to play baseball tomorrow.
Is there a lot of pressure to play here? Are you finding?
I mean, it's just different. It's very similar to my first year in Cincinnati. You know, new organization, new faces, new philosophies, new city, new energy, new fan base. It's nothing that I can't adapt to.
Do you think coming out of the 3-hole would help a little bit, maybe take some pressure off?
That's a question for Rob. I'll hit wherever. I like hitting 3. I'm not somebody that thinks where I hit in the lineup has anything to do with how I perform.
Big thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
No doubt. Yeah, man, that's a stupid question.
It's not a stupid question. If it's a stupid question, you should be equipped to answer it.
All right.
I did
All right.
answer it.
There we go. And everyone talking about them fighting. The middle portion of that, I think, absolutely helps the situation for Nick Castellanos. If you're Jim Salisbury, you're a veteran reporter. Jim's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Jim Salisbury. Great guy, too. I think what happened in that little exchange, Nick Castellanos does not like being interviewed. And I think he has no time for anything that he figures is complete BS. And getting asked if he heard 30,000+ people booing him, I think he will call out what he thinks is a stupid question. I don't think it's a stupid question, but I understand where Jim is coming from because, like, there's other ways Jim could have posed that question that would have been more accurate. Like, hey, you've sucked a lot lately, and everyone's calling you out on it. What do you think about that? Like, no, you're not going to say that. You sometimes lead a subject into talking about what you want them to talk about. It's better than saying, talk a little bit about your struggles. Like, I hate the command question. Talk a little bit about this. Talk a little bit about that. And Jim doesn't do that. Yes. Does it sound like an obvious question? Yes. But it's not meant to be rocket science. It's meant to lead the subject into talking about his struggles, his reaction to the boos. And Jim Salisbury isn't the only person that Nick Castellanos has done this to. Nick Castellanos has done a post-game interview with Tom McCarthy, who works for the team. And Nick Castellanos, where Tom McCarthy has asked has given him a leading statement, not asked a question, but a leading statement, something along the lines of, Nick, that home run had to feel good. Is that a question? Like, and that was verbatim. That was Nick Castellanos' response to the announcer, play-by-play announcer for the Philadelphia Phillies, who works for the Philadelphia Phillies. Is that a question? Like, okay, you're how old? You've been in Major League Baseball for how long? And you've never heard a leading statement before that's meant not to ask a question, but to set you up to speak? Like, a bit of a jerk move. And then when he pulled it with Salisbury, well, guess what? Salisbury he didn't take any of that either. He doesn't suffer fools even a little bit. So, yes, he's perturbed. Yes, he's annoyed. All Castellanos had to do is, like, yeah, of course I heard the boos. I would boo me too. That's it. But the fact that the middle portion of that, which is the quote that I read, saying I don't need to give a statement on that. I don't need to give a response to that. I think is acceptable as well. Because it's like, where is my win-win situation? I'm pissed off. I know I'm not going to say something flattering. I know I'm not going to say something that's going to endear me to the fans. He says, I don't need to comment on that. And I feel like that's fine because we all get it. He knows he's underperforming. The crowd knows he's underperforming. We all know that he just got booed. So, yeah, I think we understand a little bit of back and forth there, not just between Nick and Jim Salisbury, but also between Nick and the fan base as well. Excuse me. I was really hoping I could avoid the sneezes by playing those clips, too. I was going to play it for you, even if I wasn't having a massive allergy attack today. But you get what I'm saying. I think it was a little boiling point, maybe, for both parties. Nick might know that he's on the verge of being bumped down in the order a little bit. And I give him credit, by the way, also for acknowledging that he'll bat anywhere. That's fine. That's great. It's not like other stories we've heard about guys that can only hit in one particular spot in the order. So that's good. That's at least uplifting a little bit. But hearing Nick Castellanos try to break it down like that, and at least say that he's willing to bat wherever the manager puts him in the order is a good thing. Not, no, I can't move. Well, if you're struggling, they got to try to do something. Move you around in the order, sit you for a couple days, whatever it might be. Hit the reset button. I mean, I had talked before the All-Star break about hopefully the All-Star break was the time Nick Castellanos needed away from baseball, or needed away from playing at least, where he could come back either recharged or reset, whatever have you. But that doesn't appear to be the case with one hit in 12 at-bats. So that might be the, or 13 at-bats, excuse me. So that might not have been the thing. So maybe he needs to sit out, watch his team play, even when you're down Bryce Harper, and see how, I don't know, he can reset his mind before he steps back into that batter's box. Because whatever we're seeing right now ain't working. And after the Phillies get swept, now the silver lining, as I was mentioning earlier, they're only one game out of the wild card now. So it's not like the Cardinals went on some 3-game winning streak as the Phillies went on a 3-game losing streak. So that's at least good. But now they got the Braves coming to town. The Phillies do. So hopefully they take care of business in this Braves series. And we'll get to that, obviously, a little bit later in the show. That's an unfortunate thing whenever there's a little bit of a ruffling of the feathers between a media member and a athlete. But I did think Matt Gelb went over the line when he called Jamie Pody a disgrace. I think that's a little much. And I think most people agree with the idea of not calling another human a disgrace. When, especially, I don't think they had any malice. I don't think they had any ill will. I think they took out things that they thought wasn't pertinent. And one thing that Kevin brought up in his article on Crossing Broad, by the way, that I thought was interesting, was the unspoken rule of when an interview is over. And he critiques the cameraman that caught it for 6 ABC, that caught this exchange. And how Nick Castellanos in the clip says, all done, in the full version. He says, all done, meaning like interview's done. Okay, guys, good. And that's usually when everybody breaks. The cameraman kept rolling. And I don't know if they did that because they missed that the media session was over, or they did it because they saw that something else was going to happen there. If you're a cameraman, this is the one thing I'll defend the cameraman on. If you're a cameraman and somebody hears about an exchange, a heated exchange between a media member and a player, and you go back to your boss, and your boss says, hey, everyone's talking about this exchange. Do we have footage? And you're like, no. Then your boss is probably going to be pissed off. But if you kept rolling, hey, you got it. Good for you. So I don't know if it was intentional for the camera person to keep rolling or if they just missed the end of the media session. But imagine not having the famous bout between Howard Eskin and Charlie Manuel. I've been grown up. Now, that wasn't during the end of a media session, but Charlie Manuel was done his media session, and the cameras went from the subject that was in the media scrum, panned over to across the clubhouse, and there's Charlie yelling at Howard Eskin. Like, we have that footage forever now. If you're a cameraman, your job is to get footage. So that's where I can see the cameraman's point of view and go, well, yeah, I can see why they would still use that. Because they had it. Dog-eat-dog world in that scenario. Dog-eat-dog world. That's valuable footage. The thing has gone viral. We're talking about it right now, 2 days after the fact. Mainly, yeah, because the Phillies have been terrible this weekend. And though the Eagles are reporting the training camp tomorrow, it hasn't started yet, despite the Phillies' best efforts to kick off the Eagles season for them. So thanks, Phillies. Let's talk about Alec Bohm for a second. I don't know what was happening in that fifth inning on Friday night, but that was without question another version of I freaking hate this place. That's what certainly what it seemed like. And I was thinking, I know we talk about first base a little bit. We talk about third base, talk about center field, talk about bullpen help at the trade deadline. Is Alec Bohm one of those guys that you would flip? And, of course, who do I see? Our old friend David Robertson, who never pitched for the Phillies, despite negotiating his own, 2-year deal with the Phils? If you dangle Bohm out there, I don't know what you're getting back for him by any means, but he's one of those guys that another team could look at. Not as the centerpiece of a trade by any means. I'm not saying he's the stud that they're giving up David Robertson for. Plus, the Cubs are going to have plenty of bidders for him at the deadline. But at least got the wheels turning. at least got the wheels turning. We'll see what happens with Bohm in the not-too-distant future. Let me tell you guys, before we get to our friend John Barchard, let me tell you guys about the great people at Destination Retirement, particularly my man Mike Seibert at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. He is a certified professional at Destination Retirement, LLC, and a proud partner of 1847 Financial and an advisor for Eagles, Sixers, and Phillies fans only. Maybe next year, the Flyers. When it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up the current enjoyment of your income? The answer to that is income streams in retirement. It only makes sense to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective just get to the top of the mountain, or is it to get to the top and then back down safely? These are the two different phases of your financial life. Going up the mountain is your accumulation phase. Going down the mountain is your distribution phase. Contact Mike, and he'll set up everything you need in Retirement Analyzer and use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, you can email him at gobirds@1847financial.com or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. You can also visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds and play the song. How about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to all your big jewelry purchases, go to the other corner of 8th and Walnut or IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. And Steven is guaranteeing you the perfect price. Yeah, the perfect price guarantee. Meaning you don't have to worry about negotiating or haggling, or if the person next to you, the customer next to you, is paying less than you are and getting some kind of better deal. Do what I do. Go to Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every day. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Let's get away from this Eagles stuff. Let's get away from this media kerfluffle, and let's talk to our friend John Barchard of Bell and the Bird podcast, talking about all things Eagles on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Right now on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line from Bell and the Bird podcast, our old friend, Mr. John Barchard. What's up, Johnny boy?
Hey, what's up, Marky? How are you, buddy?
How
you're
am
not
I?
doing great. I don't know.
No, I'm not, you Cub fan bastard. But what happened? What happened?
This is my favorite time in Philadelphia. It's the same 10-year cycle. This is great. This is like, there's hope. And I actually bought into it this year. I actually tweeted out, I go, you know what? They might not screw this thing up even after Bryce, broke his thumb. And here we come. Here's a guy that's never freaking, can I swear? I'm so sorry.
Go for it. Whatever.
Guy that's never fucking hit 2 home runs in his entire career goes bang, bong, boom, and it just makes my heart warm. And they leave this guy in there. They leave this dude who wears number 70. That's already trouble. I've never even heard of the guy. Yeah. And it warms my heart that like a payroll of $149 million, which is basically intentionally trying to lose. And if it wasn't for its manager, like giving its all, they probably would. So this is awesome. The burn of, please bring the XFL, please bring the USFL, spring football. We will eliminate Philadelphia Phillies baseball. I promise you, The Rock, if you're listening, I swear to God, I'll help everybody. We just need more football. That's all.
Yes, I could use more football now. I definitely don't know how I'm going to feel about Phillies baseball. Like Eagles report to camp, the players, the coaches are already there at NovaCare. They showed up there Sunday, so the players show up, and then it's like, Phillies, I double dog dare you to lose this series coming up here against the Braves. Like I double dog dare you, and they will just disintegrate. They will be like they're in the Marvel universe and Thanos is coming and they just turn to dust. Like that's what happens to the Phillies when the Thanos glove of the Eagles comes into town and it's like, hey, guess what? Football season already, so let's party.
Yeah, exactly. You want me to watch Jalen Hurts throw the same football that we only get a glimpse of for a minute and a half? For 154 times straight from Monday through Friday, go ahead, lose to the Braves. See if I can. We're right on that line. And I saw I don't know if your timeline did the same thing on Twitter, but mine already declared it was Eagle seasons.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Monday morning and here we are, baby. Let's go. It's Eagle season.
We're doing all football this week. It's going to be a straight show of football. You're kicking us off, pun intended. Now, I have to say this. I'm finding myself in and I hate using this word and I hate using this phrase, cautiously optimistic about this season. I did the thing where you hedge and you go, I didn't really know how I feel about it. Where I sound like a little whiny SOB. But I'm like, okay, hold on. all the upgrades, the guys they brought in, the draft they got, like almost exactly who I wanted. Maybe not in the round that they got, but they got him. And then the actual upgrades, all that stuff. And Jalen Hurts worked his ass off. I think he's a good quarterback already. I think he'll be a good quarterback this year. But it's like, but all that can't be true. Like all that can't come into a nice ball of Philadelphia optimism and then actually bear fruit, right? Like that's not going to happen. No way.
Okay, so I'm gonna translate for everybody what Marc just said. Is this? Howie Roseman had a fantastic offseason, so much so that I couldn't even believe that AJ was going to be here. I can't believe that AJ Brown is a Philadelphia Eagle. And then all of a sudden, Miles Sanders opened up his big fat mouth. And then there was some stupid training report from Derek Gunn, which is, by the way, I'm not disregarding Derek Gunn at all. I think he's 100% purebred. Somebody does not believe in Jalen Hurts, 100%. But then that got into Marc's head. And now, because we are there, we have arrived at cautiously optimistic. You see how this works? Yeah,
okay.
It's like, yeah.
Your ability to translate, I think my wife might need you to come over and like facilitate any type of disagreement that we have so that you can actually say what I mean. And it doesn't just come out like, rah, 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 rah. But anyway.
Listen to me. I understand because both you and I grew up in a pre-Super Bowl world of misery, of looking at Sam Bradford throw 10 beautiful passes in the preseason and then be maybe a little bit of a jerk off and say Super Bowl run like maybe somebody you're talking to right now. So I get it. But this is post Super Bowl. We can't do anything. It is, we should be wearing the biggest armor ready to go into battle with this group because I think that's what we're headed towards. And yeah, whatever. Everybody says Homer and hype and it's July at this. But listen, I've been a Jalen Hurts fan forever. And I like yelling at him to get better because that's what he likes. And I'm going to give it to him even more this year because he has every single weapon outside of Miles Sanders. We'll get into that later. Just like to be a great passer this year. So there should be steps taken forward. You worked with Tom House, all the dumb offseason stuff. I'm sure there's going to be 1,000 guys that came into the best shape of their life, and like everybody's doing great at OTA and whatever it is. So show it. Let's go and see it, and you are going to see a beautifully put together football team with a defense that we have no idea what it's going to do, but it's going to be fast and it's going to be aggressive and it's going to be awesome. Get on board. Let's go.
Well, see, here's what happens because I'll walk you through the stage real quick. It's the cautiously optimistic stuff because, like, deep down, I'm like, oh, my God, this team's totally going to win the division. And then I'm like, well, let's just pump the brakes there, pom-pom boy. And then by, like, preseason game 2, I'm like, Super Bowl! Go to see you on Broad Street. We're getting another parade. See you at the Art Museum. Like, that's just kind of the way I go. But in all seriousness, I am one thing I'm not cautiously optimistic about, in like, when I break it down to just, like, the most purest form here, I believe in Jalen Hurts. Like I believe in Jalen Hurts. I believe that at the end of this season, at the very worst case scenario, the Eagles are going to have the very difficult decision of going, okay, is he the guy for the future, or do we use a pick on a quarterback? And I think they're going to stick with him. I think after this year, Jalen Hurts will remain the Eagles' starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. We'll put it to you like that.
Okay, I like that. That's not like, see, this is where everybody I think is hedging, and I said this I think from the offseason. It's hilarious that like I just think it's true. However you felt about Jalen Hurts after that Tampa Bay game, your mind has not changed. However you felt since then, and that's what I think is holding up the cautious part of your optimism is just the quarterback. Mostly here, right? I mean, they seem to give every Eagles fan what they wanted on the defensive side of the ball, draft-wise, unless you're my co-host Vince Quinn and are still really upset that they didn't get Kyle Hamilton and really love Notre Dame or whatever is crying about in his cereal. Like, it's just they gave you what you wanted. They gave you your wish list. Like, you couldn't have planned anything better. So it's just about executing all this stuff, right? And the one thing that's confusing to me is we're constantly focused on the quarterback and not, I'll say, both head coaches, because that's how they clarify between Gannon and between Nick Sirianni. I don't know, like, their theories seem great. They seem like excellent teachers, but who cares? Andy Reid is still kicking your ass probably up and down on a game day, which I don't think we'd ever say in our lifetime, but like, there's still a ways to go there too. I don't know. What does Nick Sirianni run, Marc?
I think it's like some kind. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I really don't know.
Other than running on Stoutland and be like, hey, can you go run the football with this badass offensive line?
Right.
Sure, no problem. But I don't know what they're doing. And Jonathan Gannon revamped the defense in the second year of his defense. I think it's interesting. I think it's aggressive. And I think the schedule lines up for a Super Bowl run.
Oh my God. To hell with caution.
Exactly. Say what you feel with feelings. Let it out. No one's going to hurt you.
Oh, geez. I love talking to you. Dude, all right. So, all right. Let's unpack something real quick. The whole idea of Nick Sirianni's offense. He's going to be doing the game planning, but game day, those calls will go to Shane Steichen. But when you think, is
we'll
that pessimism?
That.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Do you want some pessimism? That guy right there.
All right.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead. No, I don't want to know. Please, by all means, go. Shane Steichen. Hot takes. Go.
Sucked with the Chargers. Sucks as a coordinator. Sucks as a play caller. Like, I don't like it. Something smelled bad from the beginning when they switched. Everybody's giving them this credit about running the football. You and I could have thought of that. Hey, our quarterback can't throw. What do we do? Oh, great. Oh, well, they really turned it around. Like, okay, now let's see it. Did he learn anything? Is he a good teacher? Why did they make the switch in the first place? Like that, I have more questions about the coaching staff than I do the talent. 100%. Okay. That's one of them.
Here's one thing Shane Steichen does better than almost anyone I've ever seen. Overly aggressive hand gestures during press conferences. Have you ever noticed that? Like you and I aren't afraid to talk with our hands, but like this guy, his hands will be out of sight, especially if it's a tight shot right from the camera, and he'll just all of a sudden be like, well, you just got to have a guy like you have a Devontae Smith just come out of the backfield like that and running around. The next thing you know, you got Miles Sanders. He's got to come up and make a block. It's like almost a wax on, wax off type of motion. That, quite frankly, scares me every once in a while. This is the thing. But let's talk about that offense.
Yeah.
Because you alluded to something right there when it came to Jalen Hurts. Halfway through the season, you're like, all right, I got this great offensive line. I got a great run game. I got an elusive quarterback. I got a guy that can make a throw, but he doesn't have to be the focal point of the offense. The passing game in the NFL in the year 2021, now 2022, is not going to be based on the passing game, which is mind-blowing. How much of a transition do you think we see this year with hopefully an improved Jalen Hurts, and I believe an improved Jalen Hurts, and the pieces around him improved as well?
Major in terms of I don't know in terms of improvement overall, I don't know, but in terms of the passing game, major. Like I think that they just could not execute the air raid essentially. And if you it's hard to remember going back that far, but all the confusion, especially that 49ers game, I think sticks out to all of us of just too much razzle dazzle in the red zone. They could move the ball between the 20s. They couldn't punch it in. Like it was just one of those weird moments where you saw even in the proper criticism of Jalen Hurts and not being able to see a wide open Quez Watkins. And that's been rampant throughout, the Tampa Bay game too and all that. But how much of that is, it seemed to me a lot of, hey, Jalen doesn't understand this stuff yet. He's way further behind than we think. I need him to look here, and if it's not there, throw there, and if that's not there, I need him to run. So everybody's been using one read, but if you miss Quez Watkins, he's wide receiver 3 or 2, depending on what the coverage is and where Dallas got it, I don't know. So I think it's been very simplified, and that's where you're going to see a dramatic improvement. So much so that I think that's why I'm so bullish on Jalen Hurts, is because he's not going to get worse. And if May 31st is an indication of he's not ready or whatever that kind of thing is, great. Then he's going to, this movie, White Men Can't Jump. It's the perfect scenario when Sidney Dean and he's looking over at and he's just like, what are you doing? I'm doing 2 things. 1, I'm pissing them off, and 2, I'm pissing you off because I know it makes you play better. And I think that's what somebody's trying to do inside. And I'm just so excited for everybody to be wrong about Jalen.
Okay.
Basically. So
yeah. Now let's talk about Rosie Perez. Oh my God.
My first crush of all.
Oh,
time,
really? Oh, you're Rosie Perez.
Oh my God, yeah.
Love. Oh man,
Love
what a time!
Rosie.
What a time! Early '90s Rosie Perez, man. God bless Woody Harrelson in that shower scene with her. Anyway, so football. So you said something about the Eagles defense, and I am trying to crack this code before we see them in any type of game situation. And they're not going to do anything in the preseason. We all know vanilla this, vanilla that. Fine.
Right.
We begged Jonathan Gannon all throughout last season to be more aggressive, force turnovers that way. It happened rarely, but in the second half of the season, they play the weaker schedule. Defense looks a little bit more aggressive. Do you think schematically, okay, the key word is it's schematic, like it's planned. Do you think he's going to scheme up aggression, or do you think with more talent in a Hassan Reddick, maybe Jordan Davis is a breakout in his rookie season right away, Nakobe Dean, like, do you think these guys are just naturally aggressive because that's the way they play, or do you think this will be things that are drawn up by Jonathan Gannon?
This is going to look like Jonathan Gannon's defense because I just don't think we saw it last year because it's too confusing to me to be like, okay, it could just be butter in our sauce here, right? They could just be like, oh yeah, look at him trying to get a head coaching job and almost got the Texans job, or like, you know, it could have happened. I don't know. So either that's true, or like, you remember last year when it got really weird with Fletcher Cox and like there was a demand of a trade and like maybe there wasn't. So
the Raiders game,
yeah. I think Jonathan Gannon lost that fight last year to be like, can we please at least attempt to throw some 3-4 looks? And Fletcher's like, I killed the quarterback. I'm this years old. You know, like I assume that's what happened. But like this year it's going, okay, Fletch, here's the deal. No one wants you for this price. I still want you for $14 million. We're bringing in this kid, Jordan Davis. You're going to do what we tell you to do, except you're going to have help. And you're only going to have to rush the passer on third down most of the time. We're going to give you some time off because Jordan Davis is a load. So he's and we don't have to debate the whole pass rushing run stuffer thing right now, but just that's another one. Stay tuned for with that. Nakobe Dean, like you also don't just get a billion linebackers out of nowhere and just be like, nah, we're not going to use those. So like things change dramatically for them too, and it's going to be fun to kind of peel the layer of those onions. A lot of Jonathan Gannon, more or less, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
No, a lot of Jonathan Gannon. So it's going to be planned chaos, which should be nice. Who is the newcomer that has the biggest impact? Rookie, veteran? Who's the guy you think comes in here and it's like, wow, thank God we got that guy? Who do we say that about the most this season?
I can't say Super Bowl run and not say A.J. Brown in the same sentence, because that's the only two things that were really separating my mind and like, where is this team at? And probably you too. Like Devontae Smith is going to be a superstar. And if you pair him together with that, it's just two guys that can eat up at the middle of the field like nobody's business in Dallas Goedert as well, because I'm still really curious where he now fits into the mold. And I also think this opens up Kenny Gainwell, and we can go ahead and ship Miles Sanders' ass way on out of here at the trade deadline to get rid of that annoying, God, I just like,
what?
You just go find a hole and then call yourself an all-star for once in your life. And then Kenny Gainwell is going to end up taking over a lot of the passing game in my mind, and like very early on and late in the season as well. Him and Devontae Smith, I think, are the two most, beneficiaries of this move. And obviously Jalen Hurts too. Like, dude, this guy needs to learn that like, we're not going to be quiet. And like people in Nashville, and shout out to Buck Riesling, who's got the most fantastic voice in Tennessee, and Teron Davenport, who's got the most respect for any player ever that is talked to in that building. This is a whole different level, man. So you don't need to tweet everything. Just want to say that. But at the same time, you're also going to score like a billion touchdowns and no one's going to care. And I'll ride to the moon wherever you want to go, and we can go back and make sure it's real. Okay? So like, I'm good. You can say anything you want. Just go score touchdowns for me. I don't care. Goes for anybody. Yeah.
See you later, bud. You're in the end zone. I didn't even hear you. You're running by me. I didn't even care.
See what's happened to Castellanos? Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Why is it? Okay, you know what? You brought it up. So here we go. Because I did a whole riff on this at the beginning of the show. But here you go. Here you go. What's so hard What is so difficult about I'd boo me too? What is so hard about the Malcolm Jenkins approach? What is so hard about the Bryce Harper approach? I would boo me too. What is so hard about that? Like, you're not going to be like 30,000 people are not going to be like, you made a great point. I'm sorry I booed you. Like, what is to be gained by saying anything other than I'd boo me too? What is it
Yeah, I mean, it's funnier to talk about. So thank you to both of them. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, right.
Nick, I appreciate it. Like, they're both right and wrong too. It's just kind of like, well, no, I mean, no, Nick's wrong. What am I talking about? Jim's fine. I thought it was a dumb. I mean, like, whatever. I think those are all dumb questions. But there's a point. Like, Jim's point is to lead to the answer, and is just to hope for a reaction. And so, like, that's not. He's right. Like, then you should be able to handle the dumb question too. So Nick loses 100 times out of 100. Sorry, man.
Yeah, body
it's not
slam.
Cincinnati either.
Yeah, right. Body slam by Jim Salisbury, as far as I'm concerned, of Nick Castellanos on the receiving end of the body slam. Anyway, all right. So we're all optimistic about the Eagles. You don't use the word cautious. I use it because I don't want to be hurt again. Okay, Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
Why behind this offensive line that's been a pretty damn good offensive line for a long time with a bunch of different names on there now as well? Landon Dickerson's going to be one of those new names more regularly used in the upcoming season. Jack Driscoll probably get some run in there as well. Why has Miles Sanders not had more success behind that type of offensive line?
Because he's too focused on everything else. And you can tell. You don't even need to be in the locker room. Like, it's just like and when fans, and I'm a fan too, when we start talking about he needs to be lined up under center, he can't be in shotgun, or he has to be a certain way. Man, do you think any running back in the league cares? Give me the football, point to where I'm going, and I got to make it happen. And he does not do that. And I'm sorry. Like, he is what he is. He can go out and prove me wrong, and I'll be happier to eat all my words, but he's not going to, because I know who he is already. And you're not going to pay a guy like that beaucoup bucks. And I don't think anybody wants him either. I don't think try and get a trade package for him and Andre Dillard together and get him out of here before the season starts, in my opinion, because anybody can do his role. Anyone can do his role. It's frustrating because he's a second-round pick, and that sucks.
All right, let's put a number on this one here, and away from Miles Sanders. So I want to end on a happy note here. I'm gonna set the line. I'm gonna set the line at 11.5. Okay. 11.5 touchdown receptions for AJ Brown. Over or under?
Ooh, slightly under.
Slightly under. All right, hold on.
Under.
Forget what I just said. We'll edit it out. All right, I'm going to set the over-under on 3.5. Over or under?
Over.
Oh, yeah. There we go. There's the optimism. His name's John Barchard. Catch him on Bell on the Bird podcast, obviously. All great things. I see our boy Vince Quinn around town. Got to get him on the program in the near future.
Oh, please.
All things Eagles, all things everything, really, with John Barchard, as per usual. Bell on the Bird podcast. John, always great catching up, man. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you guys. Thanks, Marc.
Absolutely. John Barchard joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Billy, I want to be on Jeopardy, Billy. Rosie Perez, man. Early 90s. White Men Can't Jump. Yeah, that was Anyway, thanks to John Barchard for joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Talking all things Eagles with us. I don't know what to make of Shane Steichen. I don't know. He does. When you're an offensive coordinator and you have an offensive head coach, what is it you say you do here? Like, I don't get it. I know that this year, and if anything came out of OTAs, it was that Nick Sirianni said that he was going to hand over play calling to Shane Steichen, and the game planning throughout the week was going to be up to Nick Sirianni. I'm sure the fourth downs, the third and shorts, the goal line, red zone, I'm sure Nick Sirianni is going to have his hands in that, in calling plays, not just game planning, but calling plays in that actual instance. I think that's how it's going to go down. But for me, I don't know what to make of Shane Steichen. I don't think we have any bit of a sample size really in terms of what his influence is on the game plan, what his influence is on play calling. I know that last year they had kind of a very similar Andy Reid style of calling plays where it was like two people called the play to give to the quarterback, where it was Sirianni to Steichen to Hurts. So apparently what Nick Sirianni is insinuating is that the play calling will just go from Shane to Hurts instead of three people knowing the play. One person will know the play, essentially. Nick Sirianni will hear Shane Steichen call the play in, so he'll know what's coming. I'm sure he might give some guidelines like, hey, we want to air it out on this drive, and then Steichen might dial up a couple of more passing plays. But of all the things I could take away from that conversation with John Barchard, number one, Rosie Perez, nice to think about her again. And number two, what that dynamic will be like this year in terms of Steichen to Hurts instead of Sirianni Steichen to Hurts. And also, what will be different about the passing game? What will be different about the Eagles' offense overall this season with Jalen Hurts possibly airing it out more? And by airing it out, I don't mean 50-yard bombs down the field. I mean just simply passing more. So that'll be an interesting thing to see. Because if the Eagles come out and they start the season almost similarly to the way they did last year, which was passing the football more, I'll start to feel a lot better about Jalen Hurts in terms of the confidence they have in him as a quarterback trying to make more plays with his arms than handing the football off for the run game to make a play or him taking off and trying to run with it himself. So I'll have a lot more confidence if the Eagles have a lot more confidence in him. And the whole cautiously optimistic thing, again, it boils down to a simple thing. We went through the 2011 Dream Team year, and yes, they didn't have an off season. They were the lockout and all that stuff going on. But bottom line was they just came out, and after all the acquisitions, they did not play well. Made a bunch of acquisitions this year. They have a full offseason to implement and get chemistry, implement system, and also have a full offseason for these guys to get on the same page. So I do feel a lot better about this. But even that, which is legit cause for more optimism, only makes me go, okay, everything's falling into place. This is too perfect. I don't want to lose my mind with excitement. But I am excited. I'm very excited for this Eagles season. I am optimistic about this Eagles season. And I do think they're going to win the division. Now, do I think it'll be a comfortable winning of the division? Will they win 13 games? No, I don't think they're going to do that. I think you can win 12 games, and you're going to win this division. So cautiously optimistic means they win the division, and then hopefully they make at least one. They get at least one playoff victory, and that's what I'll cross my fingers for. Ooh, I take one look at the chat check over here, and Sean Gillespie's got a Jennifer Lopez reference. Okay. Let me tell you about the wonderful people that bring us our guests at Rothman Orthopedics. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you're going to have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them, one of the 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at rothmanortho.com. How about Manscaped? Fellas, you want to look good everywhere, don't you? Well, that's why you got to trust Manscaped. You see it right now in the crawl. 20% off your Manscaped order, especially the Platinum Package 4.0, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, and it all comes with skin-safe technology that helps you reduce the risk of nicks so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. Plus, ultra-premium body wash 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant, crop reviver, ball spray toner, anti-chafing boxers, and it all comes with the amazing Shed travel bag so you can hold and take care of, it holds all the goods that you'll be using to take care of your goods. Manscaped.com, 20% off when you use promo code Farzy. Manscaped.com, 20% off when you use promo code Farzy at Manscaped.com. How about Freestone Farm CBD? FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Do what I do, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to CBD, the people you should trust are at FreestoneFarmCBD.com. Absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar. And after harvest, and they grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State, after harvest, they preserve all the plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure. You'll love their new strain menu with tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1% and Super CBD, which is half Hindu Kush and 21%. The genetics of these guys are absolutely off the charts. And you have to do what I do. The Super CBD, half Hindu Kush and 21%. Sorry. I'm distracted because my allergies are just off the charts today. Excuse me for a second here. This has got to happen. Sorry, folks. So for the people watching, you don't want to see this. This is just me Wiping my nose. You're welcome. Enjoy that on your ride to work today, folks. Scoozy. Let me tell you about the wonderful people of Blue Chew. BlueChew.com. Promo code Farzy also gives you 1 month free. Just pay $5 shipping. By now, you've heard of Blue Chew. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form at a fraction of the cost. And very discreet, by the way. Blue Chew's tablets help men combat all forms of ED. And again, Blue Chew is online. It's an online prescription service, so there's no embarrassing trips to the doctor, pharmacy, or anything like that. And Blue Chew ships right to your house in a discreet package. Here's the Blue Chew process. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. It's all done online. Also, Blue Chew's licensed medical providers will work with you to find the right ingredient and strength of your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable, so it's not just a clever name. Blue Chew's tablets are also made in the good old US of A, and they prepare and ship and directly to your house, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy. Once again, promo code Farzy at BlueChew.com. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code Farzy at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping, and you get your first month free. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's jump into the chat check. See how you guys are doing here. Kevin, good morning. Mally, good morning. Sean Gillespie, good morning. Dan Swartz, you had a absolutely phenomenal tweet to me over the weekend about your migraines, and it wasn't just the Phillies. Well, it was probably just the Phillies. Phillies suck again, and Castellanos, yes, I heard the boos. I understand I get paid a lot of money to hit a baseball, and I'm just not doing that right now. I just have to keep working. It's that easy. And I give him credit for this. In the extended, unedited version, Nick Castellanos talked about how he's been through struggles in his career. Anthony Sanfilippo was actually the one asking him the question there. And he said, yeah, I've been through struggles. I've had my issues. And it's just a matter of showing up the next day. I give him credit for that. I saw somebody else respond on Twitter by saying Nick Castellanos is one of those guys that looks like, quote unquote, looks like he doesn't care. And yeah, he does. But I hate, I haven't talked to Nick Castellanos. I haven't interviewed him. I don't know the guy. I hate jumping to the conclusion that the guy doesn't care. I find it hard to believe that a lot of these professional athletes, oh, he got paid, he doesn't care. Yeah, that's an easy thing for like me to say as the average Joe Blow. But these guys are professional competitors. And one thing I always find amazing is if I ever have an opportunity, and it's happened more than a couple of times, where I've been able to participate in like some charity game with a professional athlete, they are still very competitive. Even if they're well past their athletic prime, they don't want to lose. And that's no money on the line. That's a charity game, okay? I think Nick Castellanos is one of those guys. He knows he's struggling. I give him credit. He's in the lineup every day. Leads the team in at-bats. I pointed it out last week. He's in the lineup every single day. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe he needs a couple days away from it, and that's what I was saying at the top of the show. Rob Thompson, I think, the biggest thing I think I can critique him for over this time of him being the Phillies interim manager, as great as he's been, as great as the team has been overall, you need to find a way to get Nick Castellanos going. Him continuing to play obviously hasn't worked. He hasn't played through it. He hasn't broken through to the other side. Maybe this is the time where you need to say, not just about, hey, look, if he continues not to hit, like he's only hit one hit in this one hit in this whole series, maybe the next step is not moving him down, but just moving him to the bench. Not for the rest of the season. This isn't going to be the Odubel Herrera, Matt Vierling show and all that. And no. And Derek Hall even. No, it's not happening. What's going to happen is he's going to move to the bench for a couple days, day or two, and then back to the lineup and just see if that jump starts anything. Nick needs CBDs. Sean, you're right. Mally, what's going on? Mally, just curious, when didn't they suck? Well, there was a nice stretch there. I mean, you go to the All-Star break. They had the fifth best record in baseball, June 1st through July. Now, that's me apologizing for being late. Just the clips didn't want to load, man. What the hell? That's on me, though. That's on me. Mally, Tyvita, what's going on? They suck no matter what he said. That's true. Fuji, what's up, Fuji? Everyone's so hyped on Rob Thompson, And when I said he has Girardi tendencies, everyone jumped down my throat. Like, how dare you talk about our savior like that? The bullpen has definitely left a lot to be desired, but you still got to, like, recently, you look at the way they played this series, and yeah, it was pretty bad. Starting pitching wasn't that good either. But as far as this team has gone, like the bullpen, they were dominant. They were one of the best bullpens in baseball for about a month and a half. Gosh, dang it, people. Sorry for the people watching this. For the people on the podcast, you're lucky today. Just allergies for whatever reason. April, you could tell Nick was frustrated, but that was one of the worst ways he could have reacted. Talking about Nick Castellanos and the way he reacted to Jim Salisbury's question. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was like the longer version absolutely gives you more perspective and more context of what Nick Castellanos was getting at. And the fact that he said he'll bat anywhere in the lineup, he doesn't have to answer that question. He doesn't have to give a statement there. I respect it's a better way to handle it. Still, I don't understand what's so difficult, especially because these guys get a little bit of media training. They don't go through like camps, but they get a little bit of media training where they'll get either media training by the PR staff or maybe the manager has a way they want to deal with certain things where they'll say simple things like, if you get asked about another player, never answer that question. Always just say, oh, talk to that person. Yeah, I can't tell you, but, I'm sure he's working hard. So, whatever. Kyle Schwarber did it earlier in the season when the Phillies were in Washington, and Nick Castellanos was hitting a little bit. And Kyle Schwarber says, I see this guy working every day. He's going to get better. He's going to turn the corner. I see the guy putting in the work. Yeah. But yeah, definitely frustrated. Real-time clown question, bro. Both real-time, what's up? Both were wrong. I feel like Jim took it to another level with the finger pointing. I think Jim, and I agree, and that's what I said earlier as well. Like, oh man, I had a boss one time. Give me this. And this is, I'll get fired over this. Once you do this, or once somebody is yelling at me, and I did just punch their mom in the face, which I've never done, by the way, for the record. But if I haven't greatly offended you personally, then if you're yelling at me, I just want to let you know all bets are off here. If you're sticking your finger in my face, all right, that's they tell. I'm not even kidding you. I remember in college, this public speaking course I had, one of the things we covered was offensive gestures. And it's not like giving someone the finger. It's the subtle stuff that you don't really think about too much. And some people, can be pointed at like that and no one thinks about it. But apparently, if you guys remember, man, back in the day, Bill Clinton, he would always do this when he spoke. He would always have the upturned fist with the thumb at the top, making his points like this. And the reason he would do that is because they would tell you not to point. Because people feel like they're put on the spot literally when you point. That's what goes through most people's brains. It's like a body language thing. So when somebody points, it's like this no thing. That was just one example. There's been plenty of politicians that go with the whole open hand thing like that. George W. was one of those. George Sr., excuse me, was one of those. So yeah, when somebody points, it's it's a confrontational move, I think is how the professor termed it. Tyvine, I know it's the media's job to ask tough questions, but you have to understand sports players are only human and are going to react as such. Yes, that is true. And that's one thing I try to keep in mind. Oh yeah, these people are people. They're not just here for our amusement and entertainment. April, totally agree. You stick your finger in my face, we're going to have an issue. April, if the Phillies poop the bed in this Braves series, they aren't coming back from that. Certainly feels like it, April. Don't watch football. Listen to you guys talk, and I pretend I understand. Tyvina, hey. There you go. That's all you need to do. Happy training camp week. Jim Grassmeter, good morning. John Cheeseborough, welcome back to the chat. Nice to have you, my friend. Tyvina, good morning, John. Everyone say good morning to John. That's really nice. Man, I'm dying today. I feel like my teachers in grade school that couldn't break talking because whatever. Everyone's welcoming John back. This is great. I think Nick Sirianni wanted to pass first offense, but he saw that his offense wasn't able to do that, and more importantly, wasn't able to make the switch. I think more so shows the signs of a good coach. More so. What am I missing? Me welcoming John. Sean Gillespie also finally remembering Rosie Perez. Yeah, John, I think Gannon sold out last year not to allow the deep ball. Just forgot about everything else. I'm intrigued to see how he responds with an actual defense and more weapons at his disposal, as am I. Great point, John. Sean Gillespie, Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders has all the talent in the world. I think his biggest issue is between the ears. Tyvita, I find it funny how the worst players always have the biggest mouths. Westbrook, Real Muto, Castellanos. Yeah. Wait, Westbrook. Oh, Russell Westbrook. Okay. Sean Gillespie, Rager is still there. Oh, we're talking about Ragerisms? Yeah, John Cheeseborough. Miles Sanders might be the first victim of isms. I agree with you there, John. Rager's no longer a factor, a fifth receiver. Plus, Sanders is pissed off more recently. Oh, Sanders pissed him off more recently. Yeah, Kenny Gainwell, I thought, really turned some heads last year. So I'm looking forward to see what happens. Okay, here's Sean Gillespie. Jennifer Lopez in Money Train, off-topic 90s movie with Snipes and Harrelson. I don't think I saw Money Train. Wow, John's coming back with authority. Just so far as he reads this one, Dan Schwartz, go stand in the corner. Why are we putting Danny in the corner? Nobody puts Danny in the corner. Welcome back. Don't lie. You are distracted by Rosie Perez. I mean, how can I not be? Good God, man. I had a boss who once snapped her fingers at me. Oh. Yeah, April, that's a rough one. Snapping of fingers. You know how in the Farzy 5 we'll ask people, what is a first date turnoff? The first date deal breaker? Well, I'll tell you right now, if you're ever out with anyone that's rude to the wait staff, and I've been with people in a group, I've took girls out, whatever, that have just been like no respect to the wait staff. Like they're there because they're literally a servant, not even a server, but a servant. Oh man, that's a deal breaker and a half. The snapping of the fingers, trying to get their attention, whistling, yelling, anything like that. Ooh, forget about it. I couldn't imagine in your own workplace somebody doing that to you. Yeah, no. Yeah, I've never seen Money Train. I'll have to put it on the list. I'm sorry, John. Dan Schwartz always belongs in the corner. Oh, come on. Who's going to clean up the graffiti around the city if Dan Schwartz is sitting there in a corner? Whatever. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, John. Nice to have you back. Everyone, great to catch up with you. I hope you had a great weekend other than the Phillies poop in the bed. Hopefully they'll bounce back. That brings us into our morning rush. Brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies get underway with a 3-game series against the Atlanta Braves. It's a Braves and Mets division, as we well know. Phillies still trying to make some waves, though, in the wild card standings, 1 game behind the St. Louis Cardinals. So we'll see how they push through in this series against the Braves. Fortunately for the Phillies, they at least get Aaron Nola in this series. They had Zach Wheeler. They wasted a good start from Zach Wheeler on Saturday night. Ranger Suarez gets the start tonight against Max Fried. So we'll see how that series goes, or that game at least. 7:05 start time. Fried 10-3 on the season with a 2.64 ERA. So yes, he kind of knows what he is doing. Ranger Suarez looking to have himself a nice start as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with me through this horrific allergy attack morning. So I can't thank you enough for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Ruben Frank will join the show tomorrow. And we have a former Philly looking to join the show this week as well. So we'll have a conversation about that a little bit later on. But thanks very much, everybody. You guys are great as per usual. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Like I said, Ruben Frank will join the show. Jim Hyde produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Marc Farzetta for the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement from the Steven Singer Studios. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.